Hi there, happy Monday. I'm sorry that I cannot be with you today. I am traveling back. My daughter had a lacrosse tournament, so I will be back a little later today. I hope your MEA break was good, restful if you needed that, and you are recharged for the next few weeks to come. So at this time, I will need you to get your yellow note packet. We are going to be taking some notes today. We are starting in our yellow note packet on a brand new learning target 3, which is on page 6. So flip to page 6. It happens to be the last page in this packet. It says 2.3. I can solve multi-step equations with variables on both sides. So today we are going to finish part of page 6. So go ahead and grab that. Pause right now if you need to find that. You need to get another one. That's going to be an important part of our lesson today. So we're going to be solving some equations with variables on both sides, and then your assignment in the end will be to work through a delta math. So learning target 3, here we are. We did our 1s and 2s those last couple of weeks. We're going to step it up with variables on both sides. So to begin on page 6, right here at the top, there is a box that we're going to take a few notes. So grab your pencil and let's get started. So to begin with here, variables on both sides. So it says all blank need to move to blank blank, and all blank terms need to move to the blank blank. Well, one thing that we are going to have is we're going to have some examples which we find our equal sign where we have variables on each side of the equal sign. And as you can see, we're going to need to solve that. So first of all, kind of the message that we're going to use here is all numbers. So let's write in that first side. All numbers need to move to one side, and all variable terms, sorry, I have to write with a mouse, so it's a little bit clunky, but we're getting it. And all variable terms need to move to the other side. Okay, so what's going to happen is we're going to have equations that have variables on both sides. And what we have to do is we have to isolate them, and we have to get them to only one side so that we can solve for a variable. And I'll explain that as we go. So that's going to be very important. We're going to isolate our variables. We're going to need them on one side. So variables on one side are numbers on the other. All right, so grab your whiteboard. This first one we're going to do on the whiteboard, and then we're going to move back to our page 6 notes. So you've got your whiteboard, your marker. So here it says the goal is to isolate the variable. We want to get the variable alone. So let's just take a peek here so that you can see this. So I've got 5y minus 8 equals 3y plus 12. Now we could guess and check our way through this, but this is a level 1. It's going to be a little easier as we're progressing. We'll move to level 2s, 3s, fractions, decimals, all that good stuff. So our first step is going to be the same that we've been doing. We're going to find our equal side, and we're going to put our line in. So there's my line. Now what you notice is that there's 5 y's over here on the left, and there's 3 y's over here on the right. Well, it's really hard to get the y alone if there's y's on both sides. So we have to eliminate. We want to get the y's together. So we're going to eliminate the variable. We're going to make it cancel out whichever one is smaller. Okay, so whichever one is smaller, and that's because we're going to pick on the smaller one because an attempt to try to avoid some negative signs. If we eliminate the smaller variable, then we're not going to have to worry about some negatives. So 5y and 3y, we're going to focus on getting the variable alone first. And I see that 5y is larger than 3y. So to eliminate my 3y, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use subtraction. So to eliminate something, we either add or subtract it. So this 3y, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3y's off this right-hand side. But as you know, whatever I do to one side of my equal sign to maintain balance, I'm going to come over to this 5y and I'm going to subtract 3y off that side. Now, draw your teeter-totter. These are going to have multiple steps, so we're going to have multiple room here. And watch what happens. To remove my variable, I'm subtracting the 3y because I want it gone. I want it to cancel. I don't want the y there anymore at all. So now my 3y's eliminate. They're gone. It's a big old 0. It's empty. So let's look at what we've got left. I've got 5y minus 3y, which is 2y. 2y minus 8, which equals 12. Okay, so 2y minus 8 equals 12. So now what we're going to do is we want to get that y all by itself. So now we have a two-step equation. And we're going to go through the steps that we've used for GEMDAS. We reverse adding and subtracting operations. Then we do any multiplying and dividing. So right here, I see I've got 2 times y minus 8. I'm going to get rid of that subtracting 8. To do that, I'm going to add 8 on the left, and then I'm going to come over here and add 8 on the right. So my 8's are going to eliminate. Okay, they cancel out, big old 0, don't need it. But what's left over here is my 2 times y, which is equal to 20. So we're almost there. We've just got one final step left. 2 times y equals 20. So right here, 2 times y, I'm going to be multiplying. So to undo it, I'm on my step 2. I'm going to divide by 2 on the left. Please use your fraction bar. Divide by 2 on the right. So now look, 2 divided by 2 is 1y. So 2 divided by 2 is 1y, which gives me my y equals 20 divided by 2 is 10. So my solution here, y equals 10, I can put a 10 in for y, a 10 in for y, and I can check, does that work? Well, here 50 minus 8 gives me 42, and 30 plus 12 gives me 42. It works, it balances. Okay, so that's exactly our process here. We're going to be working with variables that we have on both sides. So our first job is going to get the variable alone. So what we have to do is we either have to add or subtract our variables on one side, and I like to pick the smaller one so that I don't have to deal with any negative variables. Okay, so that's going to be our work today. Now, grab your note packet page 6. Here we go. Note packet page 6. We are going to jump. We're going to do A, B, and C. So please follow along with me. Take a real careful notes, and then you'll have some time to work on some of these on your own. So let's jump into question A. 8x plus 10 equals 2x minus 8. So here we're going to find our equal sign. We're going to put our line in. And we're going to notice that there's a problem because I've got 8x's on the left and 2x's on the right. So in order to get the x all by myself, I have to isolate my variable. So to isolate it means I'm going to remove it from one of my sides. Now I've got 8x's and 2x's. I like to pick the smaller amount of variable so that I don't have to deal with any negatives. So here, I'm going to go for this 2x. And to remove it, I'm going to simply subtract it from the right-hand side. I'm going to take it off by subtracting 2x on the right. Now, whatever I do to the right-hand side, I've got to come over here, subtract 2x on the left. Notice how I've lined it up directly below my x's because now I'm going to draw my teeter-totter. Now, look what happens on the right. This is exactly what we wanted. 2x minus 2x completely eliminates, it's 0. So I don't have to worry about those. It's gone from the right-hand side, and now all of my x's are over on the left. So let's go ahead and do 8x minus 2x. That gives me 6x. My plus 10 is going to fall down here because now we can use our plus 10, which is equal to this subtracting 8, which turns into a negative 8. Now, we have a two-step equation. I've got 6 times x plus 10. So I'm going to unwind my problem here by starting with the adding and subtraction. I'm going to remove this 10 by subtracting 10 on the left and coming over here and subtracting 10 on the right. I'm going to draw my line. So right here, my 10s cancel. So plus 10 minus 10 is going to eliminate. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate that and my 10s are gone. So now I'm going to go ahead and drop my 6x because I've got my 6 times x, which is equal to negative 8 minus 10. So negative 8 minus 10 gives me negative 18. So to get this all alone, 6 times x, I'm going to get rid of this by doing the opposite of multiplying by 6. I'm going to divide by 6 on the left. Then I'm going to divide by 6 on the right. So divide by 6, divide by 6. So here, my 6 divided by 6 is going to cancel. 6 divided by 6 is 1x, or plain old x. So x is equal to negative 18 divided by 6. Negative 18 divided by 6 gives me a negative 3. Now we can check our answers by putting a negative 3 in. So I'm going to put a negative 3 in here. So 8 times negative 3 and 2 times negative 3. So I get negative 24. I'm just going to write this down here. Negative 24 minus 10 is on the left. We want to know, does that equal 2 times negative 3 is negative 6 minus 8. Okay, so as I'm looking, this is an 8 times negative, so that's negative 23. Excuse me, this is a plus 10. That makes more sense. I was going to say something is off with Miss Glad's math. It's not. Negative 14, in fact, does equal negative 14. So we are good to go. Yes. Question B, got 2 left. Find your equal sign. Negative 2x plus 3 equals 17 plus 5x. I'm going to put my line in. So here we go. We need to isolate our variable because our variable turns up on both sides, and we can't solve for x if it's on both sides. So let's find the smaller one. I've got negative 2x here and 5x here. So I'm going to remove the smaller one so that I don't have to worry about any negative signs. So to remove this negative 2x, I'm going to add 2x on the left, which means I'm going to come over here and to the x's, to the like terms, I'm going to add 2x on the right. Now, we're just concerned about our variable first, getting our variable moved to the right side. So I'm going to draw my balance, and my negative 2x's, positive 2x's are going to eliminate. They are 0. So I don't have to worry about them. I am left with a 3 over here on the left-hand side. And now my 17 is going to fall down, and 5x plus 2x gives me plus 7x. So now we have just a normal 2-step equation. And that 2-step equation, to get my x alone, I've got a times 7 and a plus 17. So to unwind this, I'm going to get my x alone by first of all removing the 17, which means I'm going to subtract 17 on the right and subtract 17 on the left. Then I'm going to draw my balance. When that happens, my 17s cancel. Positive negative 17 eliminates. That's what we wanted. And I'm left with just 7 times x on the right, which is now equal to, over here, my 3 minus 17, which is a negative 14. We are almost done. Let's get this x by itself. So unwind a times 7 by dividing by 7 on the right, dividing by 7 on the left. 7 divided by 7 is 1x. So yes, I've got my x alone. X is equal to negative 14 divided by 7, which gives me a negative 2. And I can check to make sure that makes sense. Times negative 2 on the right, times negative 2 on the left. So 4 plus 3, that turns out to be a 7 over there on the left. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Negative 10 plus 17 is 7 on the right. We are good. All right, letter C. Let's keep rolling. We're almost there. Find your equal sign, put your line in. Here's what I notice. I notice that my variable 10x on the left minus 2 is equal to negative 4x plus 40. So we need to focus on our variables first. We need to isolate our variables to one side. So I've got 10x's on the left, and I've got negative 4x's on the right. If we choose the smaller one, we can avoid negatives. I'm going to do that. So to remove this negative 4x, I'm going to add 4x to the right. Whatever I do to the right-hand side, I've got to come over here and balance it out. Add 4x to the left. Draw your balance. So here, our negative 4x and our positive 4x all cancel. It's a big old 0. So left balancing over here on the right is just a little old 40. There it is, positive 40. And over here on the left, 10x plus 4x is 14x minus 2. So all of this, 14x minus 2 equals 40. We are going to get our x alone. So we're going to undo PEMDAS again, starting with this times 14x minus 2. I see that this minus 2 is my first to go. So I'm going to add 2 on the right. I'm going to add 2 on the right. The left and the right. And now I'm going to balance this off. Please notice by adding 2's on the left-hand side here, now they eliminate because they're opposites. Negative 2, positive 2 cancels. We don't have to worry about it on that side anymore. So my 14x is going to fall down. I've got 14x, which is equal to 40 plus 2, which is 42. Now, our final step, let's get that x all by itself. That's what we want. 14 times x. To undo this times 14, I'm going to divide by 14 on the left, divide by 14 on the right. 14 divided by 14 is 1, or 1x. So x equals 42 divided by 14 is 3. So right here, x equals 3. So what we've done is we have now just solved equations that have variables on both sides, starting off with isolating our variable. And to do that, we can either add or subtract so that we have our variables on one side. Okay. Now, this is where we're going to end the note page. Okay, so right here, I'm going to clear this. And our next part is our to-do list. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Classroom, and you're going to find the student resource page. The student resource page has dates, and you're going to find today's date, which is October 25th. There is a Delta link waiting for you. There it is. So the Delta link is ready to go. You're going to use your whiteboard, and you have 5 problems to complete for tomorrow. So again, I'm going to show you here in Classroom what that looks like. So I'm just going to period 1 right now. So here's my 1. Remember, the stream is right here. Okay, the stream shows you things. I'm going to put the video right here in the stream for you to get to as well, because I think sometimes YouTube is tricky about that. But classwork tab here is where the student resource page lives. So I'm going to click on the student resource page. So here's your doc, and you're going to go down to 1025. So I will have a live link with the multi-step video that you're watching right now. And I will also have a live Delta Math homework. Log in with Google. This link will be right here. Remember to log in with Google, and you will be right into the Delta link. Okay? Have yourselves a fabulous day, and I will see all of you tomorrow, Tuesday. I'll be anxious to get back and check in and see how you're doing. So, see you soon.